Good evening, welcome to the Coaching Clinics webinar. I'm expecting about 10 people to show up. I've got 3 so far, so I'm going to give it a few minutes. Hopefully a few more people will arrive, and then we will be able to get on with the presentation. Hopefully you'll be able to find a chat box on the side of the screen, so if you've got any questions you can pop them into the chat. I don't know if you've got the facility to talk to me directly, but if you can get into the text chat, anything that comes up, pop it in there and I'll address that later on. Up to 5 people now. Give it another minute or so before I crack on. Okay, we've got 6 people, so I'm going to begin. So first of all, thank you for popping along. The first time that I've done one of these live webinars, very strange because I'm just looking at myself on the screen. Normally it's a call and I get to see the people that I'm talking to. So apologies if it comes across in a bit of a strange way. But hopefully I'll cover everything that I need to tell you. And as I said at the beginning, there should be a chat box off to the right hand side of your screen, so if you can investigate that and put any questions, comments or anything that come up, just put them in there as they come up, and then when we get to the point of the webinar where I'm answering questions, I'll just go through and read through them then. Okay, so let's have a go. Right, you should have a presentation coming up. Okay, so this is an introduction to coaching clinics, something that I was working on during our first lockdown. Which doesn't seem to be doing anything. There we go. So first of all, what are the coaching clinics? Well, they came about as a pathway, a format by which people that wanted to become instructors could access the training to get the skills that they needed to then book onto an instructor training course. So for example, it would get them ready to book onto a pre-skills assessment if they wanted to become a dinghy instructor, or to cover off the coxswain certificate if they wanted to become a rowing instructor. It's an environment in which to learn new things in a safe yet challenging way, and to be alongside people that have the same intentions, and to work with them in a peer group to get their skills up to a level where they're ready with everything in place to go and access the instructor training. One thing they do not do is teach how to teach. So we've stayed away from delivering the content that you would find on the instructor courses. This is purely based on personal skills and broadening your knowledge and understanding of the subject matter. Currently, the coaching clinics are running at the boat stations and at the training centres, and we intend that they will be accessible and able to be delivered at all of the hubs and any units where they do their own boating, have their own facilities, or units that use other people's facilities, be that at the local sailing club, or they're pairing up with a unit that has access to water and they're making use of those facilities. Why these came about, it was, from what I've heard, quite hit or miss as to the quality and the level that people would be trained to, and that would vary regionally. So if you were at a unit that had a very strong sailing activities and lots of sailing instructors, you might find it harder to access the training for paddle sports locally without having to go off onto a national or an area course. So this will give the people at the units everything that they need to deliver a consistent and repeatable level of training. Also, the feedback that we were getting from external coaches and external deliverers was that, yes, sea cadets are very good at handling boats, yet often the depth and breadth of their knowledge and understanding of the subject was limited to, we've paddled the boats that we have in the Sea Cadets, we paddled at a Sea Cadet training centre or a boat station, and that was it. So this is hopefully a really good way of meeting all of the requirements and giving people the depth and breadth of knowledge that they need to go and really excel when they get to the instructor training courses. Who can deliver them? Well, they've been designed to be not quite a manual, but they contain everything which is required for any instructor who is current, certified and competent in the IBOS standards to deliver the content. So everything that is required is already contained within the classroom, within the coaching clinic, and so an instructor will be able to look at that, plan their sessions for their venue and the equipment they've got available and for their students, and to have the content already there. The plan is that these coaching clinics will become sort of self-fulfilling. So the people who graduate from, well, not 2020, but 2021 round of coaching clinics will then be able to come back and deliver the next round as part of their ongoing development. So once they've become a qualified instructor, this then becomes their training ground to continue working on the newfound skills that they've got. So how do they work? They've been built in the Google Classrooms environment. What this does is it means that I have a template which I can copy and hand over to each venue that's going to be delivering them. So an instructor, a unit, would be able to have access to their own coaching clinic, and they'd be added as a teacher, which gives them the ability to rearrange the order that things are delivered in, to set the assignments for the students and to answer any questions that come through the classroom environment. The students are added and they get to see a slightly different version of the classroom. They get the access only to the things that have been published. So as the teacher goes from week to week, they'll publish the next week's activities and the next week's knowledge, and the students then get an email to let them know that something's been added to there and they can go in and have a look themselves. It's designed to be a blended learning course, so it's absolutely vital that they do come to the face-to-face practical sessions where they can practice their personal skills. And it's also expected that they'll spend a little bit of time each week going through some of the exercises, a little bit of research. There's quite a lot of things to watch or read, and that will be their own time learning to hopefully get them excited and get them engaged in the broader sport. So, time for a tour. It'll take me a second to call up the next section. Okay, so hopefully now you can see the back of house. So this is the teacher's view of a Google Classroom. This one is a template for the paddle sports coaching clinic. And you see a quick guideline or an overview even of the Google Classrooms. Got a menu up here which will bring you to all of the different classes. You can assign dates to these things and that will put them into a calendar and that's accessible to the students. I haven't set it up like that because these are templates to be tailored by venue. And then this is a list of all of the different clinics that are currently available. This one will bring you back to this home page each time that you click it. The stream gives you an update. It's like a live feed of anything that comes in. So any changes that are made or any questions that are asked by the students will show up in here. And then into the classwork, this is where it really, all of the content is. Now I've developed these to run over an 8-week period with the intention of being one evening session per week. Now, if you want to run that on the weekends and do maybe week 1 and week 2 together over a full day, that's absolutely fine, and that could work out well for some venues. It really is up to the deliverers how they want to do it. So in here, each one will have an introduction and a user guide. These, as I say, are the teacher's views. So the teacher can go in and edit each of these subjects. These ones have already been assigned, but one I'll show you in a short while is ones where they're still in draft. So this gives a little bit of an overview as to the content, the different types of assignments that are in here. So some of them are activities to go and find out. You don't need to answer them, but it will be a way of well, there's a couple of options. You can upload a document if you wanted to. You could write it on a piece of paper, take a photo and upload that, or it could just be a talking point for the next session. So people go and do their research, and when you come back for the next session, you spend the first 5 or 10 minutes discussing the outcome. There are questions in there which have a space for the students to write their answer. There's a small box and they can put it in there. There's quizzes, so it will go to an external site. We've developed a couple of fun games, crosswords, multiple choice things. I think there's even a whack-a-mole in there somewhere, which will be an external link, just a fun game to check the knowledge. And then material is information they may find useful. There's quite a lot of videos and links and things like that. Again, with the intention of broadening the knowledge and understanding of the students, but also to just feed them into other places they can explore. Assuming that they don't know everything there is to know about the subject, this will put them into a really good place to go out and explore on their own. So the classrooms are broken down into week-by-week sections. So you can either view them all or click in here and see them a week at a time. And each week there will be a practical skills outline. Now, again, they don't necessarily need to be delivered in the order that they are in the classroom. However, it does build week by week, and I think that this is the smoothest way to deliver them. So it's not a session plan. It is a recommended table of content that can be delivered by the instructor. The instructor would still need to plan the sessions and to deliver them in their own way, but the content here is outlined as a guide. And after each practical skills session, there's a space here for a review. We really want people to get into the habit early on of reviewing their session, getting feedback, and then adapting before the next time. And that's as important for the instructor to do as it is for the students to look at their own performance and their skills. And then there's going to be something like a question about, where have you paddled, what have you paddled? And each one of them will have a link to something where they'll be able to find the answer. So this is a quick form coming up just to give some idea of the different environments that people could paddle in. List here for the different types of boats. And as you go through each week, you'll find a very similar structure that's following. So week 2 is building on the skills learned on week 1. And there's some information here about what do you need to have in place before you can access the instructor training course. So this one is the Paddle Sport one. This is based on Paddle Sport Instructor Award, and this will be a link here to the official documentation from British Canoeing website about the Paddle Sport Instructor qualification specification. And this week there's an activity for them to devise and deliver a warm-up or a cool down. And this is just to get them into the habit of, quite early on, of delivering to a group, working with their peers. It's almost like an icebreaker, really, but it's also training the behaviour that they're going to carry forwards into being an instructor, of delivering warm-ups and cool downs. And again, there's a little bit of information linked at the bottom that they can refer to. And this carries on most of the way through. This one that I'm showing you was our test piece. So the people that have answered in here already, the people that were having the look through early on. So this one here, I'm going to point out, the Foundation Safety and Rescue Training is a prerequisite to delivering or to attending the Paddle Sport Instructor course. And as such, we've put it in here as a reminder to book on to the course, so they can go and start speaking to the unit about finding a course that's running in a timely fashion and getting themselves booked on there. That's a little image of a course that ran at the docks. Now, if for whatever reason you don't want to deliver them in the order that they're put on here, it's perfectly simple to pick up a topic and move it into a different week. Drop it in there, and then take this week and put it up here. Now, if you do this before you assign them, then you have the option to change the names as well. You can just click on here, edit them, and then change week 5 to week 4, and your students will never know. Let's save that. So you can see the theme running through week by week. There's a nice question here. Get them thinking about why it is that they want to become a paddle sport instructor. I'm sure some of them will say, we don't have any at our unit, and the CO said someone needs to do it, and everyone else took a step back quicker than me, so here I am. Some people might be really passionate about paddle sport and they want to share their knowledge and skills. Others might just be curious, but there's some questions in here just to get them thinking about it, so they have a context that's bigger than, well, I don't know really, but here I am. So if they really understand why it is they want to be an instructor, it really helps with the motivation and the ongoing quality of their delivery. So questions like this, manufacturers of kit, it's something for them to go out and explore a little bit, get on the internet, look around and discover what is available. Now, they might know the things that are available at their unit or the boat station where they go to, but they might not have seen the whole depth and breadth of what is available. So there's some little research tasks to get them out and about looking around. And then at the bottom of this one, there's a couple of bonus activities for those days when people need a little bit more. So this one here is to just get out all of the different types of boats and play with them, have a go paddling something new, have a go in a type of craft that you're unfamiliar with. This one here, where else to go? It's a task to plan a trip on a local waterway and goes to a different venue. Now at the bottom, there's links to some really helpful websites about what to take with you, things to check out before you go. And this paddle points has got a load of different access and egress points that are all perfectly accessible and over the whole country. And then at the bottom of each classroom, there are some unofficial resources. These are just things that I've found around and about on the internet. So this one, for example, is all about, that was a bit too far, all about the different paddle sport disciplines, and there's a load of links to YouTube videos that demonstrate the different things that people do in paddle sport boats. There were so many of them that I had to do 2 sections. Quite short, snappy videos that explain all of the different kinds. In here, paddling films, a little bit longer for those people that get really interested. There's some really great videos in here. Path of the Paddle was Bill Mason, the grandfather of canoeing. Lots of people falling in, lots of people going off waterfalls, but generally an overview of the sport as a whole. Lots and lots of interesting stuff in here. And then the official resources. These are all links to, we've got the National Combined Regatta Rules of Competition. These will be British canoeing official documents. So these are the personal paddling skills, paddle, explore, discover and start. And these are the syllabuses to the level that we would expect people to paddle. So they're just pointing them in the right direction for everything that they might need to know to become an instructor. This will take them to everything they need to know about the Foundation Safety and Rescue Training. British Canoeing made a series of videos on here which cover all of the skills, so they can have a look beforehand, they can come back to it after they've been on their course, and they can refresh their knowledge as well. So this is the paddle sport one. We have the same for powerboating. Very, very similar format, but with different subject matter. We have sailing, we have rowing as well. So if we look at this one, you'll notice that the introduction and the how-to guide is blue and the rest of it is grey. The only difference here is that the blue one has been assigned and the students will be able to see this. So if they logged in here as a student, the only thing that would be visible would be this section here, the introduction and the how-to guide. Are you ready to be an instructor? We can ask them the question and find out. What we have in here is the extract from the G19 Powerboat Instructors Handbook, listing all the things that they would need to be a powerboating instructor. And if we wanted to assign that, click on the 3 dots, edit, and then there's a big button at the top here, ask the question. That's set up as a question. If you look over here, you've got a speech mark with a question mark inside it. That just determines or differentiates the question from an assignment. But it might say assign, it might say ask, it might say publish. But the big blue button up here, click that, ask the question, and it will then turn blue and show up in the students area. A fun little video here. I spent quite a long time doing this all in one go, so there's a few sort of tongue-in-cheek things that made it through, such as this one, which I think is worth showing just for a moment. I would like to point out that's not on the syllabus and we shouldn't be teaching it, but I thought it's something that a little bit light-hearted, a little bit fun, and again something different for the students to look at. So these all follow a very similar format. There's a practical session, there's some information, there's some questions for people to go and research. Now where there is a question, most of the time all of the resources that they'll need to answer it have been linked at the bottom of the question. So the question's at the top and all they've got to do is click on the links. Not necessarily as straightforward as click here and you'll get the answer, but it will definitely lead them to everything that they need to know. Let's have a look in here. This will be a link to an external quiz. There we go. So it's a drag and drop. What should we do? Put some clouds in there. These are also not the right answers, but I'm just doing it with a little bit of alacrity. Didn't do very well at that one. There we go. But just another resource for testing people's knowledge, a little bit of fun. A crossword in here. A reminder that you need to be a member of the RYA, and so you should probably go and join now in plenty of time so that when you go to your pre-entry and your instructors course, you are ready to go. There's information here about the MSSC discount that we get with the instructors membership to the RYA, a couple of different options there, and then at the bottom links and information on how to access the resources that are required. So plenty of information in here for you. Okay, I could go through and show you the rowing and the sailing one, but it's pretty much the same format over and over again with a different content. So I'm going to switch these off now, and we've got an opportunity that if anybody has questions, if anybody would like to ask anything, find out anything more about them, we've got a bit of time now that I can do that. So if you pop into the chat on the right hand side, whether or not you can actually speak to me, I'm not sure. Yeah, you should be able to unmute and ask a question. Or type it into the chat box. But hopefully this has given you a bit of an insight, a bit of an overview of the coaching clinics, their intended purposes and how to deliver them. The main aim of this was to get to a stage where there was a consistent offer, a consistent product that people could get to, they could access. There's one that I've actually completely forgotten to show you, which is quite an important one. Let's get that one up. And this is the support module when it loads. It's a training spotlight is what we've called it, but this is for the instructors who are going to be delivering the coaching clinics. And this one does go into a little bit more depth about how to teach. So there's a whole heap of resources in here. This is just a starting point, and the intention is that as the instructors who are delivering them come up against obstructions, come up against problems, or ask questions, those will then influence the content of this classroom here. So everybody who's going to be delivering the coaching clinics will be put into this classroom as a student, and there's a load of information in here. Let's look at learning styles, loads of links to different learning styles, reinforcing what they will have covered hopefully on their own instructors courses, and it's somewhere for them to come back to ask questions, to check and refresh their knowledge. There's some coaching styles as well, links to Mostyn's. There's quite a lot of videos in here. Some, like this, is quite an old document, but nothing's really changed from it. The coaching processes course, which British Canoeing covered, and this is a huge, I think it's about 40 pages, 76 pages of different coaching processes that people can look at, come back to revisit over and over again. Apologies, this computer's going very slowly today. Something here on giving feedback. Very, very important part of our development, and even more important to do it well. There's something unforgivable in delivering poor quality feedback and leaving somebody feeling like they've done something wrong and there's no way forwards, rather than identifying that there is somewhere for them to develop into, something to learn or something to try again, and have it being an empowering conversation rather than feeling like they're in trouble with the teacher. I'm going to share this one with you because I like it. It makes me smile. It's terrible quality, but hopefully it'll come across well enough. Interesting, if you do find your way to the chat box to answer the question that they ask in this video. Again, apologies for the quality. I think it was filmed a few years ago, before we had high definition TV. Okay, well, let's give up on that. It doesn't seem to be doing very much. Let's have a look at this one instead. So something about demonstration and observation. What is it that you're looking for when you're, as a coach, inspecting somebody's performance? Just a one sheet hit here. Really, really good to look at alongside planning your sessions. If you want to have access to any of this information, or to be given access into any of these classrooms, to have a poke around, to see what's in here, drop me a message, drop me an email, or pop it into the chat in here, and I can add you. It is a lot easier if you have a Google address, a Gmail address for your email, or if you have one that's within the MSSC environment. If you have a Hotmail or a Yahoo, it doesn't often work very well. But it doesn't take long to set up a Gmail account and to send that over. So I'll pop my details up on the screen shortly, and you can send me an email once you're there. There we go. Okay, so that's everything that I need to tell you about. Again, if you've got any questions, I'll hang around for a couple of minutes. If you want to send me an email and get yourself added to the classroom to have a snoop around, let me know. And you can email me at royaldocs@ms-sc.org. That is royaldocs@ms-sc.org. If you can't remember that, then you can get me through the Inshore Boating or the Royal Docs Facebook page. And just let me know which clinics you want to have a look at, which classrooms you want to get into, and I will add you to them at the first opportunity. So let's give it a couple of minutes and see if any questions come in to the box down here. Other than that, I'm going to say thank you very much, and you know how to get hold of me now if you have any questions you think of later on. But I'll be here for a few moments to see if anybody types anything in. I will answer that for you. Okay, so I haven't had any questions come through yet. I'm going to assume that that is because they aren't being asked, and I will just pop this screen so that you can. I was going to put the email address up. I'll share the. So just again, it is royaldocs@ms-sc.org or Royal Docks Boat Station on the Facebook page. You can send me any questions you have through there and I will get back to you. Okay, I'm going to end it there. Thank you for coming, and do let us know how it went for you. Bye bye.